My name is Karina Lorenzana. I'm a vice president at ideas42, a nonprofit behavioral research and design organization. At ideas42, I'm responsible for our work in global health with my area of focus in women's health. One of the early sources of inspiration for my work came from reading Angus Deaton's book, The Great Escape: Health, Wealth, and the Origins of Inequality. From reading that book, I realized that a lot of my outcomes in life had been determined by sheer luck of where I was born in the United States. Perhaps if I had been born elsewhere, I may not have had the same reliable access to health care, may not have been healthy, and from not being healthy, I maybe wouldn't have been able to go to school and build a career and work to pursue my passions. And that realization motivated me to work in global health, to try to build a type of world where it shouldn't really matter where you're born, that whether you're born in the United States or the Philippines or Zimbabwe, you'll have equal opportunity to access healthcare services and be a healthy person and live the life that you want to lead. What is my favorite part of my job? I think this is probably the easiest question to answer, and that is going out and doing field work, going into the communities that we're seeking to serve, and holding space to listen to women of reproductive age, mothers, community health workers, giving them an opportunity to tell us their stories and share their perspectives. I think listening, you can learn a lot, and really I think that's probably my favorite part of my job and also the most important part of our work. I think the challenges of our work at ideas42 would be similar to many of the challenges that would come with working for a scrappy nonprofit in international development. We work long hours, we travel a lot. It's sometimes difficult to bridge the cultural divide and make sure that we're speaking the same language and sharing the same perspectives. But I think more specifically to the way that ideas42 does our work, I think one challenge is managing the tension between generating evidence and recognizing the role of evidence in long-term greater social impact, and also having an immediate impact in a project that you're doing. So at ideas42, one of the cornerstones of our methodology is to rigorously test any interventions that we develop. And prior to working in the health space, almost all of our projects were executed with randomized controlled trials. And as many of you know in the health sector, that is not always feasible nor desirable. But we have to find other ways to build the evidence base so that we can share our lessons more widely on a global scale. Another challenge that I'll highlight that will definitely seem somewhat old hat, that has certainly been discussed in international development circles, is how do we effectively build capacity of our partners and make sure that the work that we're doing is really country-led and comes from the community level, that we're not coming in as international development practitioners like myself from the United States, coming in to work in countries to impose our values, our preferences on outcomes. I think this continues to be a challenge, and I am hoping that I will have the opportunity to work with other organizations in this space to think about what are some of the ways that we can do this effectively and make sure that we are working at the service of the needs of our partners in the countries that we're working in. One of the great sources of inspiration for me comes from the field work that I do in talking with women and health workers in the countries that we work in. And not only is it an incredibly important part of our work, but it's also incredibly valuable and rewarding for me because I have the opportunity to be inspired by the courage and strength for many of the women that we talk to that encounter many obstacles in their pursuit of good health for themselves and their families, or are working to provide good health access to families in rural communities. I think that these women, these individuals show incredible courage, and it's something that inspires me and helps give me perspective to know that the work that I'm doing is improving the health and the well-being of these individuals